Great.
No. I graduated from my undergrad, but I'm doing my education.
Great.
My daughter,
Not really.
she went application, she kept doing it a year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a year program, but it's like.
We also have a couple chairs over there.
You did it on.
Correspondence.
Oh, yes, yeah.
You worked full-time as.
Yeah, the master's ones aren't too bad, like they're more designed that way as professional degrees, but.
So in case you're wondering, why we're in these modes, we're experimenting. Like instead of using the big call, we're gonna try doing here so that we can use our new OWL video audio system. So it's going to pick up if you scratch your nose and or sneeze, it's gonna go right to you.
Right now it's showing about 8 people at a time. So even if you think you're not on camera, you probably are.
Yeah.
So watch my
Coffee
face.
cup there.
I'm not so good with that, actually.
I know me either.
Copy of the bar, and we can do that.
But if they can't smell it.
Yeah. But I often don't.
Thank you for your comment. Stay between your lines.
Hey, Garth, I often don't do those.
Both, that's very true.
Yeah.
You've known to mishandle your duties. Sure, that's the word.
Now it's for half an hour, I woke up. Now I go home and 3 hours of work and wake up. And just second shift. Yeah. Exactly. Happy so much. What about yours? Finished. So it's on time.
So are you on yelling for a little bit there, Ken? Yes. House doesn't sit again until September 20th, I believe. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He starts
Okay.
tomorrow. Yeah, he
Get
just.
some hay in.
Yeah, we do it the easy way now. It's all chopped.
Yeah. Those cuts is cutting good.
But
There was lots of it. Yeah.
no, well, we lost a biology. Not super surprising, but.
Oh, yeah, that was interesting.
The
Was it close?
by-election? No.
No?
No, Green's swapped her.
Yeah.
See, the liberal guy, Leslie Blind, resigned
Resigned,
today.
yeah. But I mean, he
Oh,
lost
you mean
two.
the one that lost the seat?
Twice.
No, there wasn't a seat to lose. That was Danny's old riding.
Oh,
It was a by-election, the leader of the Liberal Party.
Right. okay.
Robert Mitchell.
Yeah.
Well, we're live.
Okay.
So yeah, get started. Like, yeah, we can
Thanks for the
start.
notice.
I
Welcome, everyone. Call the meeting to order. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge that the land upon which our organization stands is unceded Mi'kmaq territory. Abigail Mi'kmaqi is covered by the historic treaties of peace and friendship. We pay our respects to the indigenous Mi'kmaq people who have occupied this island for over 12,000 years, past, present, and future. Do any members of council have a conflict of interest with any items on today's agenda? Any other suggested agenda items for today's meeting? Yes, you
I have, one, as you can see, our MP Kent McDonald is here. Thank you, Kent, for being here. He's the first one on the, public, or A. We also have Barbella here to, speak to the, document that she has before us, and those are the only two I know about.
I'd like
Fairly.
to add, an in-camera session so we can update council on the progress that the subcommittee's made. This may be at the last.
Anything else? Okay, May I have a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda as presented and amended? Moved by Tricia, seconded by
Jim?
Jim. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Okay, RCMP report for the month of June.
Okay. So I'm pleased to report the number of incidents is down slightly. There were 5 false alarms, which still contribute to the numbers being slightly higher than usual. RCMP reports can be found on the RMB website at www.municipalityofbelfast.com. That's all for the RCMP report for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Okay, public presentations. Members of the public are offered 5 minutes to make a presentation to council. Reminder, should any member of public wish to speak on any issue on today's agenda, this is the time allotted for that. All other agenda items are reserved for council participation. Are there any public presentations?
We have one, the first one up is our MP.
Right Honorable Kent McDonald. Welcome, Kent.
Not right honorable.
It will be.
We hope.
Who are you talking?
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for including me in your agenda this evening. Mayor Gillis, councilors, other public members here, fire department. Very important. I just wanted to come to one of your council meetings, just basically to summarize the things that I hope that we'll be successful in working together on. And the first thing, of course, is the fundraising for the fire hall. Your administrator has the applications in now. Hopefully within a reasonable period of time, you'll hear a response back on that. And I think the funding, we went with the direct delivery stream, right, Bob?
Yeah.
And so the way that worked, because the province had already contributed through a couple of different funds, the federal government doesn't need provincial matching on that, but the whole project encompasses a lot of matching between the municipality and the provincial government and the federal government. So what was the final number
529,000.
that you applied for? Okay, and that was 40% of the total cost of the project, which is what the rules are under that direct delivery stream.
Yeah, the
Okay.
total project was 1,322,500.
Yeah. All right.
78 cents.
All right. And so I've been back and forth with the people in Infrastructure Canada as Bob has been, and well, fingers crossed. I'm hoping that they said shovel ready projects ready to go, get the applications in, and so that process is done. Applications in, and we'll push it along as fast as we can.
And this time I really wanted to thank you for loaning us Jay to help us through the processes. There was some glitches to get it through, but with his help, we were able to get it successfully submitted.
I think you're familiar, as a council, when you're dealing with new portals that governments put up, there always seems to be some snags in them. Things don't go just as they're supposed to. The second thing that, well, I met with the rink committee last year, and then we're going to have a meeting again very shortly with the Belfast Rink Committee in terms of their plans in building a rink there. I think everything's going to change a little bit because the build over wasn't possible, but I'll leave that till after I have that discussion. Minister Compton and myself and members of that Belfast committee are going to get together, I think in the next week or two, to discuss how the funding would play out for that facility. There's obviously 2 or 3 different ways of doing it. Federally, we have a provincial federal funding stream, and they kind of push us in that direction first for funding projects. So in that case, the federal provincial stream, the funding is 50%, 50%. So the province would contribute 50%, and it has to be matching funding in that stream. Then in the direct delivery stream, which I think is going to get over booked, it's federal dollars with no matching. So we're trying to be selective of where those projects fit in. This fire hall project worked there because you guys had already fundraised and already had a commitment from the province. So it kind of come together that the federal government's commitment would have to be direct rather than a matching contribution. On the rink, I hope that we'll get an application in probably late fall, looking at something happening next year, I think is what their plans were originally. So just so I'm sure the municipality here will be a part of that. And just from my perspective, I support the project and I'm going to do what my role is to push it along through the infrastructure funding streams. The other thing I wondered on is just feedback from the council while I'm here. I don't want to tie up too much of your time. You have a very busy agenda. So if you have any questions for me as your MP, why this has happened or that's happened, could give you an update on Wood Islands, what I know today at the ferry service. I know that's important to reach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
please.
So you see the vessel from Quebec parked there. That was, that's not a permanent measure. That was a measure put in place because of a lot of the mechanical and problems the last 2 years down there with the ferry service. So it's kind of a stopgap measure. And so what we've been asking for, obviously that everyone's heard that the construction of the new vessel has paused at Davie Shipyards. They're building vessels for the North, for the Canadian Coast Guard and the DND. I don't have an indication from Transport Canada how long that pause will be. That's about as straightforward as I can be. I am pushing for the replacement of the Confederation with a reliable vessel similar to the MV Northumberland that's there. Because even the construction of one of those vessels is 5-6 years away. So
Started yesterday.
if it got started yesterday, exactly. So that's where that's at. The other pieces that are important there, and after talking to a lot of the members of the community here, something has to be done with McLeod Shore. So a breakwater protection there for the channel. They're starting a containment cell there for dredging. That was kind of contentious with the fishermen in the area that the dredging material is getting dumped at sea. So there's going to be a containment cell built this fall at Wood Islands in land that Transport Canada owns. It's to the left of the driveway. It's almost like they've applied for the environmental permits. Don't know if they're in place yet, but it'll hold 100,000 cubic meters of dredging material. Most of the dredging material there's no issue with it. When they did the testing there for the dredging last year, there was one little area under where the vessel saw was parked that they didn't dredge because it was contaminated material. So that material will have to be removed and taken to proper sites for disposal. But the rest of the dredging material was either shale or sand, basically with no contaminants in it. So I think that'll be a good compromise to have a proper facility there, because the ferry service will always require some dredging every few years. And I kind of stepped into the role as MP, and then everything kind of went afire down there with dredging. But I think we've addressed it right. I think having a containment cell there is going to alleviate the concerns of the fishermen, and also allow for, maintenance dredging instead of just waiting until the ferries can't run anymore and then dredging. Go
So
ahead.
this containment cell,
Yeah,
it's not a one-time use. It could be
yeah, it'll be hauled out of and then
periodically as
Yeah.
time goes on.
So they use one at Newfrage. They dredge in Newfrage Harbor there. In a lot of harbors they have them, but where the lay of the land permits it.
Yes.
And basically the idea is that contractors will find a use for some of that sand and haul it away. So I know my dairy farm, we use sand. So cars will haul dried sand. It sits for a couple of years in a pile. The moisture comes out of it, and then it's a very nice product for the cows to lay on and bed them with. So, yeah, and they use it on roads. There's construction where sand's used, but anyway, that's one piece of what's happening at Wood Islands. The second piece, which I didn't get approved, that I'm pushing for, is replacement of the docks. So the docks that are there for the Holiday Island, they're not purposable for the ferries that are there now or into the future. So what the idea would be is that those Holiday Island docks would be replaced with docks on them. If I'm going onto the ferry, it'd be on the right-hand side. A new set of docks would go in over there. And then there'd be two sets of docks. And when you talk to the people that run the ferry service, a lot of the problem, like we used to have that morning crossing and late evening crossing. Well, because of the crews, they have to, they don't only have one set of docks to dock at. So they can't park a ferry and then come in and,
With another.
so with half a crew. They have to have both crews on. So both ferries are, when they're running two ferries in the peak season. So if the other set of docks was built, then you'd have the opportunity to have like a half schedule of workers for the early crossing and a half schedule of workers for the evening crossing. And I think that would really please a lot of the commercial truckers because they stopped using the service basically because of the reliability of being able to use it in the evening.
I think that would also help when, last year there was problems with one of the ferries. I can't remember which one, but basically the engine failed
Yeah.
and it's in the dock. Well, if it's in the dock, the other one can't move. So it was basically down in the water. They couldn't get it out and therefore that shut down ferry service really for that day. And so by having, true usable docks, that would prevent any issues if there's a mechanical issue of not worrying about getting it out so that the ferry can continue for the day.
No, and I mean, that was for years and years, it run with two sets of docks. The Holiday Island had a dock
Yeah.
and the Confederation had a dock. And unfortunately, they didn't, there has to be, I think that will, I'm very hopeful that I will get that in the future budget. I've certainly been pushing on it. What the governments are, oh, we know how it works. You don't get everything at once. So I'll be honest. But I think those steps for the Wood Islands Ferry are important. Probably won't be a new vessel in the short period that I'll be your representative in Ottawa because of the length of time it takes to build one and the direction that the shipyards are working in now. There'll be a new to Wood Islands Ferry. That's what I'm pushing for right now, is a ferry that is as reliable as the Northumberland. Northumberland had some tweaking to do, but when you talk to the crew and the captains, which that's kind of where I get my information, I want to find out what they think of the operational ability of it, and they're happy with it compared to Confederation or whatever. The backup vessel that's there, if there is a mechanical problem, it won't go into gear automatically. It'll be 12 to 24 hours before they would put it in. There is a reason for that. It's the way it's costed out. I don't have all the details, Transport Canada would, but so if one of the ferries was going to be down for a week, 2 weeks, then they'll kick it into gear and do the necessary agreement. But to miss one crossing, they're not going to fire that up and shift a crew onto it. If it's just a temporary problem. So that's the ferry service. The opportunity, I hope that we get funding for a new rink facility and we just push on the fire hall. I know there's other things that the municipality's working on here and I look forward to working on those with you as well, but I don't want to tie up too much of your council time.
We do have your number.
Yeah, I know you do.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
I know you're trying to fast track the fire department funding. Any idea, like fast track meaning like a week, a month? Any thoughts? on-
Well, I was seeing the red soil over there the other day. I was driving by there, so
Lovely.
I'm fully aware that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the particular federal program that you're talking about. But my experience with the federal government and these things is that they do not like getting involved in something after the fact. That
No.
if something's already started construction, and if this thing drags on, it's very possible. I think they're looking at a late fall completion, that it could, the ferry or the fire hall could actually be completed prior to any of this coming into effect. And I'm just wondering if, so then it puts into a whole different thing. It's not construction, but it's
Yeah.
actually refinancing, or it's a
Well, that's why
financing
Jim,
thing.
I was also, before you jumped in there, that's why I was asking, like, do you have an idea of like what, you know, time wise, like what does fast track mean as far as length of when we might hear back with regards to that?
Well, the idea of shutting off the direct delivery stream, it was July 15th, now they've extended to July 20th, was they want construction to happen this year, right away. And they're fully aware that they're probably 2 months behind already, because we're in the middle of July and this stuff should have been approved the middle of April, really.
They
For the
also
construction.
stressed, shovel-ready projects.
Yeah.
You'll notice I have the shovels already
I
there.
noticed that.
Got your name on it.
Every time I come here, you got a shovel ready for.
But they did stress the shovel ready. I did get the word from them saying, yes, we've got your application. And we will contact you as soon as we know something.
Yeah, I think you're talking weeks. These projects can't go ahead if it takes longer than that to process the applications.
Well,
Thank
this
you.
project is gonna go ahead anyway.
Yeah,
We've
yeah, I
already-
understand that.
Already committed to it, and we've already laid plans
Yeah.
to cover the financing for it.
Yeah. But I'm hoping that the federal government will be able to be a partner there.
Oh, it would be nice.
Yeah,
I hope it happens.
yeah. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I'll check, Trish, to your question.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and I'll pass along my answer to Bob.
Okay.
Okay, Yeah.
Thank you.
With regards to the docks and stuff, does the problem, or the feds have any intention to buy the rest of the island? Cause the little island, they only own half of it. And
Yeah.
so the road, it's a
Yeah.
sand spit now, but that and half the island belongs to the Gillis sisters, I believe it is, so.
Yeah, Norman Stewart was telling me the story on that.
Hmm.
I don't have that answer for you.
No.
I know that, I met with Transport Canada and tried to put forward a proposal that would kind of address some of those immediate concerns around the ferry. And, that is still, I'm still negotiating that. But part of that was an ask for some type of a breakwater
Yeah.
along McLeod Shore there, because that's all washed away.
Yeah, and in the long run, it would save a lot in dredging.
Yeah.
Because it would cut it back each year.
Yeah, and I think they can foresee that anywhere that they've done small crafts and harbor repairs and put, the rock seawall in.
Yeah.
It really changes the
Yeah.
amount of dredging. Sometimes they don't have to dredge anymore. Yeah. If that's the way, if all that silt's coming in that way, which everyone thinks it is, then it should help solve the problem. But I'm gonna excuse myself and wish you good luck at your meeting.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks for your time again, okay? Appreciate it.
Okay, next we have a representative from Barbella. If you could just say your name for the record, please.
It's Monique Bisson-Geroni.
You spelled it.
Do you want me to? ISB BISSON. Gironi, it's hyphen GIRONI.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I know that I sent with Ashley, some documents. We're just hoping to, get a building on our property. We're at a point now where we need to grow, but we don't want to grow. We don't want to grow like there in a way where it would be like a huge production house. We want to stay island. We don't want to move off island. So I just want to stress that right away. The building is a prefab building made by Hickory Buildings. They are in Summerside. And so we get to choose like the right things to make it a solid building, So instead of 2x4s, we've chosen 2x6s. We've double paned the glass. Like it was awesome actually online to be able to build it like that.
And what we're hoping to do with it is make it a dough room. So Mateo can make dough not in the middle of the night. He can make it while we're in service. We have lulls in the day, usually, from 2 to 3 or so. And he doesn't sleep much because he's often making dough at 4 o'clock in the morning because the space is so hot after a service day that he has to wait for the dough to get to the right temperature for it. It's really hard. So anyways, this would give us that. We're being mindful with like the size of it, the aesthetic of it. It's only like a single level. It's 70 feet from our existing neighbor on the left. That's a cottage. I've seen them 4 times. We don't see them often and they never stay there. No one stays in the house. And then behind us is fields. It's also not seen from the road, or you wouldn't see it from the road. We're going to install PAL screws so it doesn't go anywhere in a hurricane. And we're going to build like a hallway in between the buildings, so there's no going out of the building to go into that building. And so really it's just a climate controlled space for him to make dough any time of the day, which is going to be a luxury. And we also want to make more of like our frozen products in our building and then seal them and freeze them in that space. So we have more space in our building that we have existing. It will not generate any more noise. There's no hood. It will not generate any more traffic down the road because it's pretty much we're making products to deliver to retail stores to broaden Barvela, in that way. So, any questions?
Have you already applied for your building permit?
No, we wanted to come here first and make sure that
Because I don't think we really have any jurisdiction.
they told us we needed to get a letter from you, just a letter saying that you support us.
Told you that.
The permit, I guess access PEI.
And they're right.
Really.
They do suggest a letter of support.
Yeah.
from here.
I think it's just really helpful, like if you guys support
Well,
us.
of course,
then-
we're gonna give it.
Thank you.
And, I mean, there's enough headaches involved in running a business and that without having more stuff thrown in your way.
I appreciate
Go
that.
ahead, I think we already wrote the letter, didn't we?
No, we have to get the full council
order.
report.
Oh, I see,
And
okay.
that's why we invited
We haven't
Monique
had
to
this
describe the
discussion.
project.
Oh, yeah.
So
And if
that
anyone has a
everyone was
question.
clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trish has a question.
Just because we're live stream and not everybody knows that you're a local business. Mateo, this for the record is your husband and this is a family run business.
Yes.
Just to clarify for everyone.
Another thing I want to say is that with this building, it will generate more jobs because when Mateo's not able to make the dough because we're busy, we will have a couple other people in that building making money for themselves and the community and keeping it in the community. We also want to be able to do more for the community, and we're really limited on our space. So again, growing is the only way that we can give back. So,
Appreciate your pizza on Saturday.
oh, you're welcome.
So we need a motion then to give a letter of support?
No, you have to find out from council if there's
Yes.
any more questions or concerns first.
Yeah.
Looks good.
No concerns here,
No.
100%. Yeah.
It would be helpful to have a motion.
I make a motion to fully support the application for the expansion to Barbella.
Jim, can you just speak up a little bit on the live stream? It's still hard to hear you.
Well, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Can
Okay,
you
I
say
make
that
I make a motion that we wholeheartedly support the application of Barvella Pizza to expand their premises.
Thank you.
Second. I think I have.
All?
Yeah. It's Trish, Charlie, Lynn, Catherine.
Okay.
We all support it, absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
100%.
All in favor? Nays?
Thank you for coming
Motion
down.
carries. Yes,
Thank you very much.
Clarifying some of the information.
Yeah, and anything you ever have a question of, I'm happy to answer.
And let us know if there's any stalling of it, because it seems like a pretty straightforward project.
I think so too. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Renee.
Okay.
Good night.
Bye, Renee.
Next to Charlie. Does she go?
No,
That's the-
that just to go to the end of the.
She left.
Oh,
She was with.
Oh,
Pence.
okay,
That was
okay.
his
I didn't know.
That's okay. That
Yeah.
was his
I just wanted
assistant.
to make sure we weren't
Okay.
missing people.
Okay, good.
Okay.
6.
Okay. Adoption of the June 17th, 2026 council meeting minutes. Been attached and previously distributed. All suggested changes have already been incorporated. May I have a mover and a seconder to approve the minutes of the June 17th, 2026 council meeting as presented?
Charlie moves. I'll second.
Moved by Charlie, second by Lynn. All in favor? Nays? Motion carried. CAO report. Mr. Bob Brooks, is he in the audience today? Yes, he is.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Everything, as you can see, we've only been a few months into the new fiscal year and everything's on budget and on track. Because of our healthy, cash flow position, we were able to pay off, most of the, well, actually by the end of this month, we will have been able to pay off, all of the community grants, except for the ones that have monthly installments. So we're doing very well in that payment. All the community grants are on track. All revenues and expenditures are on track to date. The deficit currently shown will start to disappear in one more month as the non-recurring community grants are all paid out. And as in past years, RMB is trying to finish the fiscal year with a better than budget surplus. So every time we pass a budget, then on a monthly basis, we try and see, how we can save money in its operations. And so far that's going very well. And it just came in recently that additional $15,000 was now received from the government of PEI because of the municipal funding model that they were trying to decide how much more money to give the municipalities. So now we've been paid out the two allotments of $15,000. Now we'll be waiting to hear what they decide is going to be the permanent allotment. And I had not heard from Municipal Affairs as to when that decision might be made. But basically they've paid it out so far and everything is on track. So I'm very pleased with unless anybody has any questions.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Your CAO subcommittee update is Chair Mayor Gillis.
That's you.
The CAO subcommittee met again on Wednesday, July the 8th for its subcommittee meeting. Two major items were discussed. The moving forward to recommendation item was referred to the next CAO subcommittee meeting in August, where it's expected to have a recommendation to council at the council meeting. Secondly, this committee moved to in camera to discuss an HR confidential specific items, and the meeting was going well. Okay, Belfast case. Lynn.
All right.
You put that light switch things we can. Yeah, thank you.
Normally I do this in August, but since we're having a July meeting, I got a write-up done quickly. All right, so Belfast Days update. June 27th and 28th saw some of the best memories for residents of Belfast. We had an amazing turnout for our annual beginning of summertime event in our community. The weather was perfect, which brought out all ages to enjoy the activities. We had a car show with some fantastic classic vehicles, many food vendors, the Selkirk Galley, chickadee fried chicken, loaf and ladle. We had fresh squeezed lemonade, kettle corn, snow cones, cotton candy, candy apples, Wood Islands Express. It was great to see all the painted faces. Even teenagers were participating for some artwork. The photo booth and spin booth were a hit.
Great prizes were handed out with an honorable mention to our most creative parade entry, the Gillis Lodge crew with their NFL Holiday Island ferry. I have to say this year our fireworks were the most spectacular. It was a perfect evening, clear for the display. On June 28th, we saw many miniature horses trot around to the delight of the kids, the highlight of the races. There was a great crowd, and the Belfast Days official pace, the winning horse was Levi Sonic, and the driver Tom Woolridge. That wrapped up a perfect Belfast Days weekend. We are still waiting a few donations for Make-A-Wish before we announce a total collected for the event. I will provide an update next month when I have that total and have had time to break that great news with the Make-A-Wish office. We are also happy to announce that we have received $500 as a total collected in our red bucket for our local fire department. And I will be presenting that to the fire department very shortly. I have lasting visions of laughter, ice cream, cotton candy, kids bouncing, great smelling food, fancy cars, fire trucks, sleepy faces, and all that. We want to thank the Belfast Fire Department for their assistance and presence for the event. And we want to thank our funding sponsors and our prize sponsors and all our volunteers who have participated in the business activities. As always, this is a very busy endeavor behind the scenes, and it takes a lot of planning and funding. I'm so happy to hear all the positive comments, and I'm very proud. I hope we can top it up for next year, say the date, June 26th and 27th.
Well done.
Very good.
Congratulations.
I like the location this year.
Very
I heard
good.
that from
Mhm.
several people.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, me too. That was one of the positive comments.
Yes.
Okay, up next is Deputy Mayor Doherty on the Belfast Fire Department.
Oh, yeah. No fast fire departments are.
It's about the community.
Oh,
grants.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch
Oh, right.
base on a conversation we had before about the process of the fire department to get funding.
Yeah.
And I know you had alluded to, this is how the MGA wants it. It has to be an application. It has to go through the community grants. I'm just not really 100% sold on that. And I think we could probably challenge it a bit in terms of it is funds
Yeah.
given to us for emergency, fire protection, whatever. I would like us to attempt to have a conversation about having those protection funding be secured in its own allotment without having the fire department have to apply for a community grant. To me, it's not in the same. It's not, and it doesn't make sense to me.
I can clarify that. So, last year, that's exactly, not last year, the year before, that's exactly the process that was used. Last year, however, we, gave it its own separate line item.
Mhm.
And, it was, item number 11. It basically has its own separate line item, and it's not part of the community grants process anymore because of your suggestion, and that's what we went with. But to clarify, the municipalities, all municipalities only have one way to give away money, okay? And that's through the grants legislation, which is provided by MGA. So that's the vehicle that allows us to give away money. The only reason it was in community grants process before was because no matter what system you have for the fire protection services, council has the ability to say how much money. Well, first of all, two things happen. The fire department says how much they need. Then council will either agree with them or give them a different number. But either way, for example, last year, fire hall asked for a certain number, 115,000, and council said, no, that's not enough. We gave them 120,000. This year, they applied for 165,000. So council agreed, and so it's a council decision. All that to say that the Municipal Government Act will only allow us to give money if council makes a decision. The process that the province is looking at the moment, that's not in place. But they were looking at revamping how they provide money to municipalities for fire protection services. There is some discussion that they may be looking at a certain dollar value per resident. They are looking at other models where it might be just a flat rate. Once that happens, then there will be legislation that is put in place that would allow us to do, well, actually, what I expect would then happen would take the decision out of council's hands. Meaning that the province may say, okay, automatically they will get this amount. And that's what goes, the government gives it to us, we give it to them. That's what's being considered, but right now, what happens is the fire hall asks for a certain amount and council considers it and gives them, well, typically we've just given them what they've asked for. We ran into a snag last year when we found out that the fire department was not asking us for as much as they needed. We have since resolved that problem, and as a matter of fact, we have a representative that is on, that reports on a regular basis. So in order to do what you are suggesting, we have to wait for the new legislation, but in the meantime, it's already got its own line item, and council makes a decision. It's no longer part of the community grants process. It is part of the grants bylaw, because that's what gives us the ability to give away any money, even $1.
I
Question.
don't really, yeah. go ahead.
Charlie has the floor, Jim.
Yeah. Can we not just, contract with the fire department? And so we're not giving them the money, we're exchanging services for money?
That is one of the discussions that they're having as an option.
Right, but I'm thinking that like not all the municipalities are doing it through a grants process.
That
That's
was
what.
my issue. You're
Yes.
saying there's one vehicle for us to give them money. I want another vehicle.
Yes, the reason that they are having this discussion is they recently found out that there's a lot of different models being used. And so what the province said is that they wanted to look at one model that was good for the province or the municipalities, or they may do it in a couple ways, because some of them said, well, if you're a large municipality, you're gonna use this system. And if you're a rural municipality, you could use this system, but they haven't come up with those models yet. It's all under discussion. And the reason it's under discussion is for exactly what you just said, Charlie, in that there's different models being used and they wanted to standardize it.
So, but are the different models being used non-compliant with the MGA?
Well, they're all compliant with the MGA because the municipality has the ability to give money through the grants
Yeah, but
bylaw.
I'm saying we don't have to give them money, we can contract, we can exchange money for services.
But
Cause that's
what we are doing.
That's no, it's not.
It has been going.
We're
through
funded, we're
community
giving,
grants
yeah, we're giving them
applications.
money as like a fund, as transfer. But I'm sure that we should set up they're, I think, a nonprofit organization. We can set up a contract every year and they say how much their services cost and we pay them that.
Yeah,
That's not giving money, that's an exchange.
no, I can certainly look into that. But when I made that suggestion to them,
Mhm.
because we talked about this months ago, when I made that suggestion to them, they said, well, we're looking at a number of different models. So they may come back and say, well, yeah, that makes sense, but as soon as we get the legislation in place, we may be able to make that change. But the response I got so far is I presented that idea and they said, come back to us. We'll give you an update when we know more.
So that's where we're at now. So because they gave us that response, then what we did in our budget is that we did a separate line item. Not part of the community grants process, but just let us know what you need. And council made the decision as to what to give them. And that's a separate line item.
But where did that money from that line item come from? What cost?
The only pot we had, we only had.
Which is
pot.
the community grants.
No, no,
No.
no, it's our general revenue.
No, it comes from, we get tax money from the government through the assessment process. And they say, you have this much money. Now, we have said in the past, okay, we're gonna use this much money for community grants to give the fire hall what they want. But you're saying, and what council did last year was saying, okay, all the money that we get from tax revenue, we're gonna use this amount of money for fire protection services. We're gonna use this amount of money for community grants. We're gonna use this amount of money for CCBF.
I just don't wanna be put on the back burner with MGA and like, waiting
Right.
for a response. There's definitely something we can challenge with the process.
Yes, it was a
Exactly.
separate, from.
I just don't want it to become something.
Yes,
that-
Catherine?
So I'm not sure you understand what we're asking for, Bob.
Okay,
So what I understand the government is doing right now is they're reviewing essentially the remuneration or I can't think of the word, but the rates that fire halls are getting paid,
yes,
not how they're getting paid. Like, I understand that all municipalities are already paying them.
yes,
I think what we're interested in looking at is how we're paying them. So
okay,
it's not the actual rate, it's just that we want it removed from the community grants completely. And I know it's a separate line item, but it's still bulked into that, so there's still confusion in the community as to where that's coming from. Which
Okay.
is why we're asking if it can be either its own separate bylaw payment, if it can be a contract out. But just like completely separate from the community grants, so there's no confusion in the community that the fire hall's taking money from other people or other people are taking money from the fire hall, when that's not the case, and it's not ever been the case, but there is that perception
okay.
that there is there, so we're just trying to clear that out.
Well, with that clarification, I will go back and, to see how I can, how we can approach it. But I'll bring your ideas forward, because you all seem to have a similar idea of how you would like to see it. So I'll bring that forward and see what options that we have.
Just less work for the fire department,
Yeah,
not have to apply for essential.
Yeah, it should be on.
All
What you need
is
is
kind of
what
what
you
I mean,
got.
just a less.
Jim.
Yeah, I really don't like the idea of government telling the municipality how much we can allocate toward the fire department through some model. I think they've been shown that their one model fits all system that they've been using does not work. That the municipality, it's our responsibility. We're the ones that have to pay for it. And we should be the ones to make the decision as to how much money we give to the fire department. And that's based on what they ask for.
that's what we're doing right now.
And that's what we
But
should be
I will look into the suggestion, and then at some point, once we have something, then council can make the decision on which way they want to go.
I think we know which way we want to go.
Anyone else? Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Okay, small play area at the Wood Islands Market.
Me again. All right,
In.
very popular.
Here, popular tonight.
Popular every night. All right. Sorry, I just have all my papers and stuff here.
Your glasses are over your head.
I know. but My ankle is changed, so everything on my face doesn't actually help. Right now, the light's not the greatest. Yeah, it's not. Okay. So this is not a long thing. This is just something that I wanted to bring up. And it just kind of ties into some updates with the Net Park that are gonna be coming in August as well. I'd like to maybe the thought of a small swing set slide combo out here somewhere. We already discussed the splash pad thing. It's not like that. I just would like to have something here. We're a big tourism stop here. A lot of families come here, stop here off the ferry, come to Wood Islands Cafe, come to the candy store, the building over here. Pretty much any municipality on PEI, whether it's a town square outside their office area, has some type of children's play area, and it doesn't have to be elaborate, just something small. I did go on to a couple different sites and kind of price a few different ones, and it's not too atrocious, from $600 to $1,500. But it's basically a mini park just outside our office area, just
Did
something,
you approach Wydeck?
not yet, this is my early stages. But I just thought it would be something that would kind of bring people in here, especially families. And it ties into the whole community parks thing. There's Iona Park, Selkirk Park, Connect Park, just something kind of in this area, from potentially maybe put on our website, maybe some pictures of the parks in our community. The Connect Park is having work done to it. And, there's going to be an update coming in August on that. And, BCDC did put an update on their Facebook page about what's happening right there and need contact. But that's, in a nutshell, that's kind of what I wanted, and I'm going to touch base with YDAC on that and their thoughts as well.
I can help you set that up, Lynn.
Yeah, and nothing elaborate, like I said,
Just at
just
the next
something
meeting.
small, because most municipalities have some type of play area, but I would really like leading off that to promote all the parks in our municipality, so people know where to go.
It's
Yeah.
So one of the concerns that we'd have to investigate is the liability and how that would
Yeah.
affect our
Mhm.
insurance. And who's responsible for the extra trimming of grass around it, the extra, maintenance of it long term, and whether or not that can be shared potentially with WIDAC. But the first thing that comes to my mind after looking into similar things at another business is the liability cost, because you have your liability insurance that's coming in and out of buildings, but as soon as you add on a playground, it can significantly increase the cost of insurance and liabilities.
And I'm gonna talk to YDAC about that.
Jim?
It's not as simple as you think. There's provincial legislation in place for playgrounds, and it has to be approved, equipment. I'm sure you guys found that out when you were doing your Siona one, and it gets really expensive. Because you can't just go like you used to be able to just go and build a set of swings. It doesn't work like that anymore. You've got to have gravel so deep so that the kids don't hurt themselves. And you have to, we got away from it at BCDC, but you're supposed to have an approved contractor. And when I was looking after the ones for a BCDC, the only approved contractor, there's only one approved contractor on the island. They wanted $13,000 to put up a swing set.
Yeah.
It was out of this world. So mind you, we sort of
It's
got
a
around
really
that.
stages
It's a
thought.
great idea.
If no one else is on board,
Sorry,
that's fine,
Catherine.
but
I was just gonna say, I think I'm happy to help you explore the costs involved with that and do a little bit of research as well. I also would like to point out the fact that there is no playground here also represents concerns when there are events, because the children have no place to congregate. They are all over the place, and there's cars coming in and out with the tourists, and they really just kind of play around everywhere. So I think if there was a centralized play area, it almost could help with liability, in terms of someone getting hurt by one of the vehicles coming in off the ferry.
Doesn't why that?
Thank you, John.
Thank you. WIDAC owns all the property.
We're there.
Okay.
Okay,
Roger,
sorry, guys.
so
Thank you for your service.
Apologize, first one, I have to leave on.
Wouldn't it be WIDAC would make the application then to,
we'll talk them when I talk to them then.
On the early
If
stages,
they
yeah,
don't
good.
want to, and it's too much, and insurance and all that is, then it's a early stages thought.
We did have discussions with YDAC last year, because we proposed that idea when we were looking at how to utilize our reserves. Because we still have a project right now, it's kind of designated for the fire hall. However, depending on funding that we get from other bodies, we may or may not have to use it for that, so we may be able to use it for something else. But that said, Wydack at that time was very interested in the concept. The stumbling block was not only funding from us as far as helping them get it established or buy the equipment, but the biggest concern was, as Jim mentioned, the legislation that you have to live up to, and the standards and the liability. So that made it, I believe, at that time, we went from thinking it would cost us 15 to 20,000 to 50,000. So at that time, at that point, we stopped looking into it because we didn't have that much to give anyway. So, but there's been changes since that time, and there may be other ways to do it. So I'm sure that Wydack would welcome your inquiry. And not only that, but what we found, for example, when we were doing other projects, we found that if it had a tourism bent to it, for example, because it's here with the visitor center, maybe we could approach Department of Tourism, and they might be able to provide some funding. And or if you do it through a government department that has that legislation, we might be able to tag on to their liability. So there's lots to consider in your inquiries, but I can tell you that there has been a lot of interest in this in the past.
And there's a lot of play areas on PEI. If it was that deterring, I can imagine.
It happens just how much
Exactly.
money it costs, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right? Like if it
Yeah.
was that much of a pain to make a playground, there wouldn't be that many.
Mm.
So there has to be some benefits to having a playground.
Yeah.
It's not all liabilities or contractors.
Yeah.
Yes, Catherine.
I just want to state that we have to be careful, with, just because we are positioned here, like there are other, playgrounds, I guess, other organizations in the municipality that are also, building, looking for funding as well. So I think we just have to be careful how we approach this, given the structure of our municipality. Because we don't directly plan and do things. We are kind of just the money holder that gives out the money. So I think there's nothing wrong with suggesting it to IDOC, but I think if they choose to go forward, they need to do it through the appropriate channels, or like the community grant, the state that I don't know how the ECDC has.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Belfast Rec Center.
Yeah, no,
And I wasn't suggesting that you were suggesting otherwise, but just to,
no, that makes.
so everyone knows on camera that that's how it will be played out.
But anytime that's where they get you, insurance, policies, regulations, that, to me, that's a huge deterrent. There wouldn't be that many playgrounds.
I might suggest that you also talk to Charlie and her brother, because I own a park. They have a playground set up, and they've had to jump through those hoops, so I would suggest that Charlie might be a good person to
Still
talk.
fresh in their mind.
Yeah, and I mean, this, like I said, this is just an early thing. This isn't
Yeah.
just trying to throw out the idea.
And it's a good idea. Thank you, Ruth. What where we are, Calgary,
Well,
no, 12, getting nurse practitioners in the RMB municipality, Lynn and Ashley.
Yeah, I could start. I don't have much to say about it. Just that Lynn and I, we both had a mutual, had a mutual friend who served on this council prior to this term. Mary Elizabeth Meacher Carlson.
She did a lot of work on this item.
She really wanted to champion healthcare for our community, even if it was a very basic clinic that was only going to be open, once every couple weeks, for one day even. However, she explored that idea and pushed it quite far when we were in the other building, and we would have had to utilize the upstairs hall, which created some conflict in terms of scheduling. So, in her honor, we've kind of just been throwing around the idea of maybe re-exploring, opening that topic up, because I think the fact that we have this space now, might qualify for us to use part of it, or on a day that, you know, we're not working here, or maybe a hybrid situation, that we utilize this space as a clinic space for our community, to better serve our residents. And I know that Lynn's done some preliminary work into it, and she was going to speak to some of the specifics tonight that she sort of looked into already. So go ahead, Lynn. Oh, Garth.
No, I'm trying to distinctly remember, Mary and I, and maybe you all were there too. We had a meeting with some people of
Province.
medical,
Yes.
yeah, and we had to have a separate space for the cot and all that stuff.
That's
The
correct.
last time am I correct in saying that?
That's
I'd have to
correct.
go back on my notes.
No, that's correct.
And
But-
sorry, go ahead.
The only thing I was gonna say is if they, one of the things that we were going to explore is a way of cordoning up a certain amount of space, if that was workable. We don't know if it is or not, but if it is, then, you know, if they decided to have a clinic every Saturday or something, you know, then they could, you know, come here, they could cordon off that space for the nurse practitioner and or whoever. And do it as a one-day clinic every week. However, because we have the space. That said, there may be other regulation requirements that make it suitable or not. So right now, it's going back to exploring an idea that council was very interested at one time when Mary was on council.
Okay, go ahead, Lynn. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay. I just made a few steps. I called Health PEI and, they sent me to the College of Nursing and Midwifery department there. And I spoke to a lady named Dawn, left my information with her, and she did reply to me. I did forward it on, so it's on record here. And thought it was a great idea. And also encouraged, because we are under the MGA, that we do need to reach out to them and see what they think our steps should be. Moving forward with that as well, and that's in the email.
Sorry for rejudging the swap hours.
Yes, sorry. Had MGA in my head.
No, that's.
I also contacted the Department of Health and Wellness. We do have a new health minister, Corey Deagle now, so it's kind of his receptionist that I spoke to. Her name was Sandra. And again, also thought it was a wonderful idea, and she took my information. She was gonna speak to, I guess, the CIO of the health department, just to kind of see if they can get some information. She honestly didn't know. I know that Morel has one, North Rustico has one, Hunter River. They have, an area there like Morel, it's a Morel center.
Medical
but
center.
Health PEI puts the stuff in there, like when you're saying
Right.
we need a cot and all that. This is Health PEI providing us with
Okay.
that, but we
But we
need to
needed a
find out what
dedicated-
agreement.
Yeah, at that time, they wanted a
Yeah.
dedicated space to have that cot in their desks and.
And we have that now,
And
or
we have
we
that now,
potentially
yes.
have that.
But
yes.
yeah, like an NP, nurse practitioner driven clinic, and how often it's here, that's all up in the air. Basic services, ears, nose and throat, referrals, prescription renewals,
Mhm.
basic ailments, things like that, for RMB residents. And, that's just kind of where I am right now. You know, liability agreements between municipal and provincial, all that will be established once I have more answers.
Well done, both of you.
Jim, you had something?
Did you speak to them down in Murray River? It seems to me that I recall that the Northumberland Development Corporation, that they built that building that the restaurant is in. I'm not sure what else is in it, the one on Main Street there.
The post
And-
office.
and-
It's actually on my list to
and
do
they
next
built-
week, is to go and speak to
And
them.
I think that they actually dedicated a space in there for a nurse practitioner, but they were unable to, as far as I know, I think they were unable to come to any kind of an agreement with Health PEI or,
I'm gonna go and check next week.
whoever
And
it
I'll
is,
follow up with council at the
and see
next
what it
meeting.
is. Yeah,
The one where the post office is?
Yes,
Grindstone restaurant or something? like that?
yeah, they actually have a space there that's dedicated for
yeah,
it.
that's the
the mall
next
across from the bank?
Yes, that's
Right,
correct.
or the end.
Yes.
Anyone else have anything to add on Lynn's? Okay,
Thank you, Lynn.
yes, okay, up next is the Calgary Foundation grant in out for the Belfast Rec Center,
And
verified by Ashley.
All right, so the Calgary Foundation has been approached by a donor who wishes to establish an annual grant of up to 5,000 per year to support charitable activities for the Belfast Rec Center. The donation is being made in the memory of the donor's late wife, Donalda McTavish, and to honor the McTavish family's long-standing contributions to the Belfast community. Because the Calgary Foundation can only provide grants to a qualified donee, they are requesting that the rural municipality serve as the grant recipient. The municipality would receive the funds and provide oversight to ensure that they are used by the Belfast Rec Center for intended charitable purposes. So council is being asked to authorize the municipality to act as the qualified donee and to authorize the appropriate signing authority to accept the annual grant on behalf of the rec center. Is everyone okay with that? So I can, yes.
It'd be a similar arrangement as the arena
Mhm.
grant that the government provides every year. It's in and out, and that's what this would be.
Couple questions. When they say like charitable donations, is that like their money is being given to the rec center to support the rec center, or is the rec center again like another recipient that does something charitable within the community beyond what it already does?
It's to support the rec center.
Okay. And would we, if we took on that role, would there be some expectation of oversight that we have in the rinks use of those funds? So I would imagine like, you know, that the money isn't being spent on like vacations or something like that. Do we have some ownership in ensuring that? Or if, it's like, I don't know, is that the case with the one that we do now?
So the way it works now is the government will only give it to the arena if it goes through us.
Yeah,
So then once we receive it, we then pay them, the Belfast Rec Center, the 8,500. And then the only, oversight that we do is we make sure that it's represented in their, year-end, business plan and, audit,
okay.
their financial statements.
So basically it just shows as money coming in. We just make sure that their
Yeah.
financial statement shows that that money came into theirs.
Yeah.
It shows
So,
on their books
yeah.
and theirs.
Yeah, but we, like, if someone were to pocket that money and go to Cuba, we're not necessarily on the hook, because if they show that money came in, that's as far as we have to take it.
And we have our auditor
Yeah.
make sure that we have the paperwork in place
Perfect.
and receipts to show that we gave it to them, and also a document that shows they've received it.
Okay, for me, if it's the same as kind of what we're doing and we don't have to have any oversight or any kind of guarantees on how that money's spent, then that's an easy yes.
Mhm.
Not never implying that it wasn't being used, but just we need to know where our exposure is.
Yeah.
Do we need a motion?
No, well, actually, that's probably a good idea.
On motion.
So we have a motion on the floor from Catherine
I'll second.
to do
To
the
accept. the-
Calgary Foundation grant.
Yeah, as an night.
And that was Billy Mann's second.
Billy, a seconder, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Willis. Ashley. Okay. Due to a sudden departure of Councillor Carter,
She gave me her report.
our Belfast Rural Fire Department monthly update will be taken over by Bob Brooks.
Okay, fortunately, Tricia had a printed up report for me to read. So the fire hall expansion project, construction of the fire hall expansion has officially begun, marking an important milestone for the department and the community. We are pleased to report that confirmation has been received for $248,000 in funding through the Rural Growth Initiative. We are currently awaiting confirmation regarding additional funding applications submitted through other levels of government and funding programs. Further updates will be provided as additional funding decisions are received. The department sincerely appreciates the continued support of the rural municipality of Belfast, our funding partners, local businesses, residents, and everyone who has contributed to making this important project possible. Next category is fundraising. Fundraising for the fire hall expansion continues. Another fundraising bingo is planned at the Belfast Rec Center with additional details to be announced. Several other fundraising activities are currently in the planning stages. Information about these events will be shared with the public once dates and arrangements have been finalized. We thank the community for its continued generosity and support of the fire hall expansion project. And I might add, including the $500 that was just given from the Belfast days. Next category is recruitment and membership. The department is very pleased to announce that 5 new recruits have joined the Belfast Rural Community Fire Company this year. The addition of these recruits is an encouraging sign for the future of the department. They will participate in departmental training and work alongside experienced members as they develop the knowledge and practical skills required to serve the community safely and effectively. We welcome our new recruits and thank them for volunteering their time to serve the residents of the rural municipality of Belfast and the surrounding area. Next category is Honor Guard for fall-in paramedics. Members of the department recently had the solemn privilege of participating in the Honor Guard and procession for the 2 island EMS paramedics who tragically lost their lives in an ambulance collision in New Brunswick. Hence the half-mast flags that have been flying around the island. Firefighters, paramedics, and other first responders gathered to pay their respects as the paramedics were brought home to Prince Edward Island. Their dedication to emergency medical service and to the residents of Prince Edward Island will not be forgotten. The Belfast Rural Community Fire Company extends its deepest condolences to their families, friends, colleagues, and the entire island EMS community during this incredible difficult time. In closing, the department remains committed to protecting and serving the community while continuing to advance the fire hall expansion project, recruit and train new members, and support important community initiatives. We thank the mayor, council, municipal staff, and residents for their ongoing cooperation and support. Respectfully submitted, Richard Hughes, President of the Belfast Rural Community Fire Company. Did you pass that to Ashley for her?
And thank you for your paperwork, Councilor Perry and Bob. Do we need to go through?
Yeah, I'll carry on with number 15.
Department, Belfast Rural Fire Department's funding update.
Okay. As reported last month, fundraising efforts continue to be successful for the estimated $1.322 million fire hall expansion project. Funds committed from the fire department, Canada Community Building Fund, CCBF, the Rural Municipality of Belfast, RMB, and the Rural Growth Initiative, RGI. The fire department and RMB are currently working on a funding application with the government of Canada, which we talked about earlier, with the help of through our MP Kent McDonald. If successful, that may cover the remaining required funds. If not, we are also working with Finance PEI to finance or bridge financing to pay off invoices while we wait for annual contributions of the CCBF financing to arrive next month. We will have a good understanding of our funding application and the requirements for Finance PEI. A bylaw will be brought forward next month, so RMB can guarantee payments on behalf of the fire department. Estimates are now at approximately $4,000 a month but could be much lower. Total payout of financing is now estimated to be between 12.5 and 2.5 years, depending on the success of the Canada funding application. We'll know more next month. Having said that, we now know that the application, we originally thought we could apply for 700,000. We could only apply for 529,000, which left us outstanding 184,000. There is a number of ways that we can tackle that. First of all, the fire hall and friends continue to look for other funding to see if we can find an additional 184,000. We already know that they have been successful, but it comes in small amounts. The good news is Finance PEI is totally on board with, they would guarantee up to a certain amount of money. And then they would provide the up to that amount of money, and they would do the financing, or they would allow us to pay it off early, pay it out early, whatever we need to do. Now, without penalty, yes. And that's right, without penalty. So the update that we have since that, if we are successful of the $529,000, and in dealing with MP Kent McDonald's office, they were trying very hard to try and make that happen. But as you know, there's no guarantees. But if that does happen, I spoke to Finance PEI about what would be required. And there's a couple options. First of all, we have 184,000 outstanding, probably less now. And that's based on the fact that RMB is going to be contributing that 30,000+ from that reserve fund, but that'll be up to council. It also means that the CCBF funding that is guaranteed to us, that happens over 5 years. Well, we've already got 3 payments. So on April 1st, we'll get another 54,000, and the next April, we'll get another 54,000. And if we actually had to get more money from CCBF, that would be 184,000. We are allowed to use that money from CCBF as bridge financing, or to do financing. So that means if we get the funding for $529,000 from the federal government, it will cost us $0 to do the financing if council approves the next CCBF funding amount. Because what'll happen is that money will be there. They supply it to basically $54,000 a year. And then we simply, as soon as the money comes in, we do a block payment for that year, and then it gets drawn down.
When's the first payment of the next cycle of CCBF would be out?
April 1. They're all
No,
April
of the
1.
next, like, 5-year.
Okay, so
When would be
this
that first
cycle finishes in 2 years, so it would start in 3 years.
So we would need financing to cover that until that comes in.
That's right.
Yeah. So it would
And
cost.
so that would be called bridge financing, is basically because it's covered.
Yeah,
But
they're gonna charge us interest on it.
Oh, yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
gonna cost us something.
That's
It's not
right.
that it's not gonna cost us anything. It just costs us a lot less.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, when I say it won't cost us anything, it'll be covered
Yeah.
through the CCBF funding.
Yeah.
So yes, there is charges and all that kind of good stuff, but
Yeah.
it won't mean that the municipality will have to raise any taxes to pay it. Because even next year, for example, if we had to go out and borrow, I will say 300,000, because you have to cover the bridge financing, right? You get approval for 300,000, and then it gets paid off through the annual increments of the CCBF. That's an option. The other option is the fire hall continues to raise funds and we put that monies toward it. The quote that I now received, so, originally, when we were talking about the $1.3 million, it was gonna be 25 years. Now, we're talking 96 months, for the monies, and that works out to payment of $4,008.49 a month. But
On 300,000?
what's that?
On 185,000.
Okay, you just.
No, on 300,000,
On 300.
because you have to have like, we already have the commitment from
Yeah.
CCBF, but we have to
Yeah.
receive it first. So we need the bridge financing so that we can pay those bills until we get the money. So now, if that works out to be the plan, the project will now be paid for in 7.5 years, not 25. But, you know, there's a whole bunch of ifs there. But the good news is that Finance PEI is very much on site and they're willing to work out whichever works.
If we don't get the federal money, will they loan us 713,000?
They will. They would loan us up to the 700,000 if we wanted to or whatever. And however, we're hoping that doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, I'm just
But no,
wondering.
they're willing to
It's
finance
just a cap.
the whole amount.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay,
And there was no cap suggested.
okay.
He said, how much do you need? At that point, when we were asking them, it was around 700,000.
Mhm.
And they said, no problem. If
Right.
you work it out over 25 years, it'll cost you this much. However, we've since had a lot of progress and there's a lot more optimism about what's coming in. All that, so you won't be surprised, next month. Actually, it's on our agenda, I believe. Yeah, actually, it's gonna be talking about item number 17. And so I'll let her talk about that. But as far as the fire department, fire health fundraising, we keep getting more funds in from various different people, like the 500 that Lynn just gave the project. So we will have an exact idea next month. And what the Finance PEI requires is show us the bylaw that you're gonna use to do that. That's what Ashley's gonna let you know about. And then show us the council decision that's saying, go ahead. So that's all they're gonna need, but we can't build that story until we find out more about how much we need. Catherine.
Obviously, this is a huge space compared to what they currently have, and the operating costs are gonna be significantly more. Have we started receiving any estimates for what they're gonna be asking for operating costs, or just in general, what they're asking for, so we can start building that into the budget as well?
Our preliminary discussions were that when they did the 165, that they were gonna take some of that into account. Having said that, you and I both know that a lot of things are gonna happen where they're gonna say, oh, well, now we might need a little bit more, or.
See that coming.
Yeah, exactly. However, we have a system in place now. In the past, we were not getting the proper ask from the fire hall. Now we have someone in place that's monitoring it on a monthly basis. We have us, and I'm recommending that the next council assign the CAO and a council person to do the same thing, so that we can keep a much closer monitoring. I would expect that by next budget, they will have some kind of adjustment or some ask. So I don't know if that's gonna be 10,000, 5,000, but it won't be for, if we get the 529, it won't be for paying for, the fire hall expansion. But it would be for possible more expenditures for operations. Again, there's a lot up in the air right now because we don't know if we're gonna get the federal money.
Yeah,
All
that's
that
just
stuff.
government.
Yeah.
That's just our life cycle.
But all we can do is
Um,
just keep moving forward
yeah.
and, keep. You know,
Can I make a recommendation? And this might seem left wing, but it is related. Can I ask that we send a formal letter, and I can draft something up, or you guys can, to FPIM, explaining our situation of the increased cost of the fire department, simply because they are a bargaining chip with the provincial government in asking for the new funding model. And part of asking for the new funding model is asking for more money specifically for the fire department. So if they are explicitly aware of what our situation is with our fire department, they can use that for leverage to the provincial government.
that sounds fantastic.
Also, just to add on, so we have it notes for me later. Part of that ask should be discussing the increased pressure put on the fire department for, like medical calls. That's been something I think we've discussed, FPIM has discussed, but again, just to have it in writing one more time, asking the government for increased funding for that, to cover off those portions because there is such a shortage of paramedics and ambulances.
That,
So,
it would be fabulous if you, were able to start a draft.
Yeah.
That we could, because of your, contacts with FBIN.
yeah, it's more so a formality just to
And we're
try
kind of,
to pressure the government to give
Yeah.
us more money.
we're unique in that too, because we're such a big municipality, and I mean,
Exactly.
their standby stations are out past us, so.
Oh, our fire department is doing everything,
yeah.
right? They're the first
Always.
ones,
You,
so.
you may wanna add in your letter that it should also mention wildfire. Because there's, now wildfire training that they are taking on.
Yeah.
And even the municipality is doing wildfire
Yeah.
response. So, that is becoming a big thing across Canada now.
And another thing with our municipality as being, I mean, Three Rivers, the area is large, but we still are the biggest municipality, really.
In landmass.
Yeah, and we have, I'm pretty sure we have the highest tree percentage of any area on the island
More or
too.
less we do.
Yeah. So it's a bigger risk for us.
So then I would suggest that, once we get your draft, we will know more next month.
Yeah, it doesn't need to happen like
Yeah,
instantly because these are ongoing negotiations.
Right.
It's gonna be a new government anyway, but like just to have it optimistic here. Just to have it on paper, just so that they can use that to leverage and
Yeah.
explain it.
no, good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah.
Isn't our position that, we're not really interested in having to fit into a government model for financing for fire departments, that we are able to make that decision ourselves as far as how much money they're gonna give them?
Well, we're having the discussion in the province that it might come as a form of taxes, right? So it would come off at the tax base and we wouldn't, they'd do the calculation for what they need. And they'd just send us that as a chunk of funds based off of each individual.
If you're in- if
We
you're-
don't know yet, though.
Well, if you're in an unorganized territory, isn't that how they do it? They collect them,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
collect the funds and send them to the fire department, but we're different.
But I
We have the
imagine,
we have the ability to set our own tax
but
rate.
but I also imagine that if some kind of model came through that the provincial government saying this is how much money the Belfast Fire Department is getting, we will always have the option to top that up. I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
Yeah.
It just,
Oh,
there will
absolutely.
be setting a minimum,
Yeah,
I would
that's what
expect.
I understand.
So it would be not so much that they're putting bookends on both sides, but they would be putting a minimum to make sure that there's adequate coverage for fire services in all of the areas.
Right.
Yeah.
But Charlie's right, we would always have the option to add another line item. If the government said, okay, we're gonna give them, I don't know, 160,000, then they council could discuss, well, we think they should get more and we're gonna give them another 10. But that would be a council decision then, not the government automatically giving them
Yeah.
a certain amount.
No, not
But
to
anyway,
say,
that's
yeah,
all
no,
pie in the sky because we
Yeah.
don't know when they're gonna.
and not to say that crazier things couldn't happen, that suddenly the provincial government comes out and says, $220,000 to the Belfast Fire Department.
That'd be lovely.
Sorry, but it would,
Lovely for them.
but it would be out of kind of our pocket
Would be for
too.
all of us.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, taxation.
Yeah, I guess it wouldn't affect the municipality at all. It would come out of the individual tax rate.
anyway. Okay,
Yeah.
I see what Charlie's getting at. So, for example, if the province came up with that model, then instead of right now we're getting $34,000 through taxes. They may deduct that from the amount that we're getting, and now suddenly we're only getting $15,000. Whatever, you know. So we'll see what they come up with.
But still, even if we only get 15,000,
Yeah.
we may only have to buy 3 to 5, 8,000.
Correct.
Not 165.
Right.
So
And
it's
it,
probably balanced.
it would, yeah, it would be the province increasing individual tax rates over,
Yes,
over the
But it's
municipality.
money that's not gonna
Yeah.
come into our
It
tax.
would- It wouldn't be
base.
us making the decision, it would be them.
Yeah.
Anything else? to
Just,
Discuss on this matter?
just that I wouldn't count on too much from any provincial government with the size of their deficit that they've got, that eventually they're gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't count any chickens before they're hatched.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. An arrest policy for RMB progress to date. Ashley.
So if a municipality in Prince Edward Island has employees, it is legally required to have a written workplace harassment policy. It's not optional. The requirement comes from occupational health and safety and the workplace harassment regulations, which apply to employers in PEI, including municipalities. The act states that employer must establish and implement a policy to prevent and investigate workplace harassment. Eastern Kings just had their policy vetted by their legal team and they sent it over to our office. I'm just asking if council would like to review their policy, and perhaps use it as a template to establish our own. This would also not only protect employees, but it would also protect council as well. So it's a valuable piece to add to our municipality's collection of documentation. So
And
it's up
it's
to you.
required anyway, so.
It is, it's not optional.
Can you
So
just send that out
What,
to us by email?
I can send it to you by email.
What do we have now in place?
Nothing.
Oh. Well,
It's a provincial
Yeah.
policy we follow.
this is a new policy?
This would be a harassment policy.
Yes, but it's new
It's
to.
not a new requirement, I
No,
don't think.
it's not.
No.
Something we didn't get to.
Oh,
And it should be done because it's not optional, it's required. So if we could use one that's already been vetted by legal, that would save us a lot of money.
well, yes.
And Eastern Kings has been kind enough to
Yeah,
share
not,
theirs with us, so
not-
I'm going to forward it to you all tomorrow, if that's okay.
Awesome.
Okay, thank
And
you.
then the idea would be that you're gonna provide your feedback or what do you think of it? And then we would have it on the agenda for next month.
How did we miss that all this time?
We were using we were using,
Sorry.
we're following the provincial.
Well, there's so many, there's so many things, we just didn't get to it.
Well, that was generous and kind of them to share that.
I've also been told that anybody, there are a lot of potential people that, deciding if they would want to work for the municipality that wouldn't even look at us if we didn't have these documents in place. So it's really important, like as a potential employer, to have that it's established. If you're looking to, for a new CAO or a new whatever, you really should have that. Or they may not even want to apply for the position.
But to answer Garth's question directly, 8 years ago, when we were told by municipal affairs, all the things that they wanted us to put in place, that was not one of them. And so it never came up, until recently, as you know, that there's been some issues across municipalities over the last 2 or 3 years. And so now people were starting to look more seriously about having a policy, so that's when it came up. You may remember we raised the issue last year, but we were busy, we didn't get to it, and actually was able to have some discussions with Eastern Kings. And so we think that next month would be the time to put it in place. That way it's in place for the next council, which will, as you know, election is in November.
Thank you.
Good catch,
Ashley.
Ashley.
Oh, did you say that out loud?
Slip of the tongue.
Okay.
Is there anything else on item 16 to be discussed? Okay, thank you, Ashley. A reserve policy for RMB's progress to date. Ashley.
All right, so as discussed at other meetings, it was confirmed that RMB should have a bylaw that describes the current RMB reserve, currently sitting as a GIC. This bylaw would cover the emergency preparedness reserve of $10,000, the legal reserve of $5,000, and the election reserve is $5,000. And the remaining reserve currently at $31,977.58 and growing. Municipal Affairs has provided a model, a template, which I'm currently using and adapting for our office for RMB. This bylaw will be available for discussion and consideration for approval at the meeting in August. All figures shown are changeable as required. That's it. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, business items.
The only additional item was the in-camera item requested by Charlie.
So I will shut off the live stream now.
Just a second. And then there was no other, so if council is ready to move to that, then we would require the
13 first?
we could. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Reading number 19?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't have my glasses, I can't see.
19.
Okay.
On your head.
Out of order. CAO committee meeting next will be on Wednesday, August 12th, 2026 at 7 PM, R&B office in Wood Islands, and our next regular scheduled council meeting is Wednesday, August 19th, 2026 at 7. Also at our R&B office in Wood Islands.
Can I ask, so we did this in this location, the trial for the new OWL system. And, in my mind, it seems to be working. We learned that we'll probably need a few more folding chairs to have on standby in case we get more people. But Ashley, do you have a comment on how the system worked?
I'm really proud of the system and how it's set up right now. It's really flawless. It looks great, and I've had no complaints so far about
That's my
it.
question.
Yeah, that was never.
So that's great, and so I'm happy with it.
Okay, so then you will notice the schedule talks about the meetings continuing to happen at the RMB office. If everybody's okay with that.
Unless we have a major.
A major one, yeah. We thought that there, when you do the budget session, you're gonna need the big one. Also, on December 9, we have the swearing in of the new council. We'll be using the upstairs for that because we expect a lot of people for that one. So any major, if we think it's gonna be a major meeting, we'll use the bigger facility.
And I'm wondering if there's any way for us to have a contingency in the event that a bunch of people show up and we're not expecting it. What are we going to do? Is it just, the contingency is to fit as many chairs in here? Like, cause I can't imagine that it's gonna be very feasible that at 6:50, we realize that there's 20 people
Right.
showing up, that we move it
To move.
upstairs.
The contingency at the moment is, see the chair that Ashley's sitting on?
Just
It's a
have extra
black
of
folding
those,
chair. Then we have a number of those because we actually can fit quite a number of those in here if we go to that system.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I could
'cause we-
reconfigure, tweak.
Yeah, I think that
fit.
maybe we might put you more central, so the owl can be central, so that way it kind of, because I think that some of the people over here can't be seen as well, or like,
Mhm.
we're all at this end constantly looking this way,
Yes,
so maybe
can-
tweaks there.
send you guys some templates as to what I think might work next
Yeah,
time.
and
then
we're
we
happy
can-
to try out a few different ones too.
Okay.
And there's no way it'll work in our previous location,
I know it will work, it's just not, I think
not
that
as well.
it will work in the other location, it's a lot more logistics of bringing everything up there and stuff like that. I think
Oh.
that we discussed that.
I got you, okay.
There was an unrecognized amount of work that was going on to bring all that stuff
There
up
is.
there.
Yeah,
and back
okay.
down each
I
time,
got you.
when maybe if it's not necessary, we
It
don't.
actually frees up a lot more of my time for research of other things when
Yeah,
I'm not
okay.
back.
I got you, I understand. I thought it was location, but
No,
it's just
Logistics.
Create
location.
efficiencies.
Yeah.
So if you guys like the way it's going, then there'll probably be an expenditure picking up a few extra folding chairs.
Okay, meeting adjourned, thank you,
Nope.
Facebook.
No,
Well,
not
I
yet.
think
We're
not
going
quite.
to, and then we'll adjourn, but bye, Tracy.
okay, I'm closing the live stream. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for watching.